if you try to do the right thing and you get yourself a medical marijuana card, you're opening up a big can of worms, because when it comes to the government, they'll do whatever they want, and they'll use you to get money from you to pay for your crime, which is, if you have a medical marijuana card, you're pulled over, you have a weapon in your car legally, but you have a medical marijuana card, you open yourself up for a serious gun charge, because based on this law, U.S. Code Section 922 of unlawful acts, as far as the federal government's concerned, they haven't changed the medical marijuana laws. You may be paying the state for your card, so you're legal, but you're actually illegally carrying a firearm because it's a felony. So you can get yourself in a great deal of trouble, and it's a lot worse than it would be if you just got busted for a bag of pot, which, for example, in the state of Arizona is a felony. So you got to watch out what you're doing if you have a weapon, because the federal government will put your ass in the slammer, and you won't have any chance to get out when you're dealing with those guys. Here's the law right here. U.S. acts. You may have a medical marijuana card from your state, but the fact is, if you're pulled over and you have your card, you have some weed on you, they find the weed, you show them your card, they're like, cool, they find a gun, you can be charged by the feds for illegally carrying a firearm and at the same time having some weed, which is not legal as far as the federal government's concerned. So you could be put in a position where you're just like a drug dealer with a gun trafficking marijuana. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So it's not a joke. So you better think about it. If you have a card, that the ramifications of having that card, just because you paid $300 to, $150 to the state, or how much you had to pay to get that card to begin with, you end up having a gun, legally having a gun, not doing anything wrong, just have your medical marijuana on you, just happens to be marijuana. Of course, the reason why marijuana is such a big deal goes all the way back to, the early 20th century, when Mexicans were, bringing pot over the border. They wanted to get, rid of the Mexicans. The U.S. government did, so they made it a huge offense, and people spent sometimes a lifetime in prison for possessing marijuana. And then there was the reefer madness craze, and after that, they came out with false reports saying marijuana causes all these crazy things, and like it was angel dust or something. And ever since then, for decades and decades, many states, like Arizona, for example, when you get busted with a couple grams of some weed, you're getting charged with a felony. And then if you have a pipe or something, that's another felony. You end up paying a couple $1,000s to get it reduced, and hundreds and hundreds more for classes and everything else. And it's all just not of the people, for the people. It's the government doing what they want to, and it's like, if you don't like it, what are you going to do about it? And that's what it's come down to. So you better, if you're voting for the president, you better think which president is going to less increase the government, which president is not going to increase the government, decrease the government. We know that our current president is all about big government control, and government control means less control for the people. Even though the medical marijuana laws and the different beliefs of that may not be on the other side as far as people's general consensus in either party on is pot good or bad. We'll just say that the government trying to control more and more things is never going to be a good idea. That's what really what it comes down to with the federal government here. The states, people voted for their rights to be able to say medical marijuana should be legal, and the federal government was just way more power than ever was intended to have as the ultimate authority. So as far as they're concerned, I mean, they'll get what they can get from you, and if you don't like it, good luck dealing with them.